Now I feel like I'm going to have to immediately go to ranker.com and search top AJs on the planet. In there. Swan, it's a good one. Green, or Greg was in top Gregs on planet Earth. But AJ McCarron does join us about them hotline, new coach of the Birmingham Stallions. Before draft, you've been named the Birmingham Stallions head coach. I don't know. I know you've done a lot of media. I don't know exactly. You've been named the Birmingham Stallions head coach. I don't know. I know you've done a lot of media. I don't know exactly what else you've had to do outside of this draft, but just kind of take us through the ride.
Also, sleep not before. All this draft, but I've had a coaching staff unbelievable. Everything's gone.
Had the draft, and I know additional but if you could, draft process, not.
Draft is anybody that was on, and then they have it each position, and then which are D-line, skill, running backs, went to defensive back. Standpoint, so anybody that's a free list, then and
that you've picked up, I think some real production. He gives you a big Anthony at Western Kentucky. I feel like some of the names that you've pulled in, you have to have confidence in.
Oh, 100%. Listen, I mean, we got at every position. I mean, even when you start at the O-line, three out of four draft picks were number one on our board at guard, center, and tackle. Then we got the number two tackle on our board. And when you go to the defensive front seven, we got two number ones, three number twos on our board. You go to the offensive skill, Daywood Davis was number two on our board. Anthony McFarland was number one running back. We also got our number 4, 5, and 6 that were on our board. And then we threw in Sampson, which, he was also high up on there and as well. And then our DBs, the same thing. I mean, we got a bunch of, top guys on our board at each position, and I think that speaks volumes to my coaching staff and the amount of hours that they put in and recognizing, top players in this league.
So you've put some of the staff together. I'm curious just what the staff looks like. I know it hasn't formally been announced or anything. I'm not sure when y'all are planning on announcing it, but who's kind of helped you put together these? You mentioned the board. Who's helped you put together that board and guys that you were trying to go after?
Yeah, me, Tyler Siskey, who's, I guess, been announced already as my OC. And then defense coordinator who has a ton of experience at Alabama, a ton of experience at Georgia, a ton of experience at Tennessee, and then some in the pros. And then I have a ton of experience. I spent a lot of my money on the defensive side. I wanted to get a bunch of experienced guys that have been D coordinators at all levels. And then even on the offensive side, I think my O-line coach, I look at him as one of the best in the league. He's a former All-Pro in the NFL for years back, and And then running backs coach is a great one. My receivers coach, I guess he got announced yesterday, but Cody Latimer, top draft pick for the Broncos years ago, is a player not too long ago. So I have a ton of experience, guys that I lean on, but the amount of work that they've put in for this thing is something that, doesn't go unnoticed, because it's not an easy deal. And also trying to find tape on some of these guys. Like, a lot of these guys don't have NFL tape, or they've been in the CFL, or you got to go back on Thundercloud and pull up, old college film. And so to find the tape on everybody in this draft and break them down has been awesome by them.
AJ McCarron, head coach of the Birmingham Stallions, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. How do you intend to assist in Tyler Siskey balancing his time studying film for recruits and offering up his recruiting service to people, also attempting to enrage college football fans with things that he says then posts on TikTok and things of that nature?
Listen, we'll still do our podcast. We'll still do the Dynasty. He'll do McCready and Siskey, on our off day. Our owner, Mike Rapoli, he wants that. He wants notoriety for the league. He wants us to do podcasts. He wants us to there, do interviews, and help spread word about the league. So, and then listen, Siskey's a pro. He's unbelievable. He's ran recruiting for Coach Saban for many years, and also other places. And he's also been a OC, position coach. Like, he's done everything at the college level. So he'll be fine. And his recruiting service he's a professional. He's got a ton of people that work for him, and they won't miss a beat.
How would you say the reception's been? I mean, once it's been announced that you're the guy, and you've been doing a bunch of media appearances, and I'm sure you've done some things as it relates to trying to generate interest from a season ticket standpoint, all that stuff. So how has the reception been so far for you? How's the welcome back been for you?
Oh, it's been awesome. Listen, everything's great, and whenever you get hired, everything seems like it's perfect, and until you get that first loss, and then it can feel like everything's just falling apart. But the welcoming that I've had from the Stallion Nation has been unbelievable. And my biggest thing is I want to put a great product out on the field, us go win a lot of games. I hate losing. But at the same time, we need support. We need everybody, whether they've been a Birmingham fan or they haven't, they've never watched the league, or whatever the case may be. We need as many people in Protective Stadium as possible, and it's just it'd be awesome for us, for our team, for the players, and the city to pack Protective as much as possible.
Having fans at games important. Having assistant coaches you have confidence in, important. You brought that up. You mentioned that. The draft players that you got, important. Experience in the league, you have that, very important. The most important aspect that we need to discuss here on the show is where you are mentally and emotionally on in-game interviews, because you're a little picky about those as a player. And we had to kind of wait and see and how that was going to go. Have you put some thought into how you're going to interact with us on the sideline as far as a head coach in the league now? What's my access going to look like is basically what I'm asking you.
Self-serving question for sure.
I've always liked you. I've never turned you down. But it's kind of the Saban motto. As long as we don't get on bad sides, hell, you're open for interview. And then if I see some crazy reporting all of a sudden, then we might have to question. You might have to bribe me a little bit.
I'm not reporting anything. I'm just going to get it from you. I just walk over there and ask you the question. I don't need it. So between you and Siskey, we might not call the game. We'll just let you guys talk the whole game. I think we'll be fine. Everything will be good to go. So we're excited about it, man.
It'll be must-watch TV, I'm sure, at some point between me and him.
Some of the names you didn't give us on your staff, when should we expect to be able to find those out?
February 1st.
There you
So we'll announce, but we are fully staffed. So and like I said, I have a ton of experience. I have a good mixture of experience with some younger guys. I think we need that. I think you need that in this league. You need guys that can on your staff that can relate to the players that have been in their shoes not too long ago, that have played, made it to the NFL. And really the difference in this league, okay, is there's a ton of talent. It's the guys not knowing how to sustain success and really put in the work off the field. It's not so much on the field. It's learning how to watch film. It's learning how to take care of your body. It's learning the right things to do, stay out of trouble. And hopefully, myself and my staff can help those guys in the best way possible and help them reach their ultimate goal of playing in the NFL.
I do know that one of the things that coaches kind of juggled was when you're talking about number of offensive linemen you would keep or extra running back, receiver, quarterback. Have you kind of put any thought into, from a numbers perspective, where you might lean or where you might want to be?
Yeah. We have everything broken down. Like I said, when you have staff meeting a couple times during the day, but then your night staff meeting lasts from 8 to me and Siski about 1 or 2 a.m. Most of the other guys, we allow them to go to sleep, but we're usually on there for about 2.5 hours, if not 3. And we have everything broken down from a draft board standpoint, who our top guys are, ranked all the way down to about 10 at each position. And then, the exact numbers of how we want our team to look, whether it's we want to be more of a 10 personnel team, so we're carrying more receivers, or we want to carry 3 tight ends in this draft or coming out of this draft, and it's 4 running backs, like 12 O-linemen. We have everything broken down to the last number possible.
Finally, I wanted to get your thought on something that I feel like you be in line with Greg and his mindset here. When you saw the reporting of Ty Simpson being offered $4.5, $5, $6 million to go play at Tennessee or other places around college football, and he says, no, I didn't want to give up my legacy to do that. I didn't want people to remember me as the guy that took the money and ran, because I was a captain at Alabama, and that means a lot to me. I'd love to hear just your thoughts. What went through your mind when you heard Ty Simpson say that?
Oh, I mean, that is respectable. I understand his thought process. I was on the side, and even talking to Ty's dad, I was a firm believer in, I think Ty needed to stay another year. Now, whether that was staying at Alabama or however that worked out and he was getting pushed out and pushed towards the draft, I personally think another year of college football would help him tremendously, because I kind of take the Bill Walsh mindset to it, where when I look at quarterbacks and their success rate at the NFL level, and they have less than 34 starts, usually the success rate is way down because they just don't have enough experience. You hadn't seen the ebbs and flows of success and failure and how they deal with it. And I think how he started the year out, he was up for the Heisman and guaranteed, top 10 pick. And then halfway through the year, it kind of fell off. Now, is all that his fault? No. The O-line play was not very good at all this year. They couldn't run the ball, so the play-action game hurt from that. But at the same time, I think when I watch it, his mechanics broke down more than I would like to see. I thought at the top of the drop, his cleats weren't in the ground. He didn't look as smooth going through his 1, 2, 3 progression. His feet were very happy, you could say, and in and out of the ground. And I think it caused inaccuracy down the field and some issues from a mechanics and throwing standpoint. And I would have liked to see him to have another year, but I also think this draft class for quarterbacks is super weak. And, if you feel like the feedback you're getting from people and you're being led the right way, and that leads you to, hey, you could be a first-round pick, then take it and go try to live out your dream.
There you go. AJ, great stuff, man. Thanks for hopping on with us. We appreciate the insight both on the UFL draft, the Stallions, your staff, and then obviously on Ty Simpson in Alabama. Look forward to many conversations here in the future.
Yep, I appreciate it, fellas.
Thank you. AJ McCarron, head coach of the Birmingham Stallions, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Some names that you like there, some names you've heard of in that draft, I think can easily bring some production to AJ's football team.
Well, for sure. I mean, I remember Anthony McFarland all the way back to college. I mean, he's got a lot of juice at running back, so that's great. Matt Corral is back, along with a few others. Jaron Hall, who I know you called some of his games in college. I've seen him play a bunch. So that's a good ad. Deion Kane's been a speedster for a long time, so I think there's a lot to feel good about. Samson
Nakua has been very successful in the UFL. Big physical target down the field, gives you sort of a different type of receiver. So like what I'm seeing so far from that Stallions draft, and we'll see kind of how it plays out moving ahead with where they're going to be. A lot more to get to, though, from a college football perspective that we need to discuss. Before we go to break, I'll tell you about Gusty Goulis and the Gusty Goulis Group. If you are one of those transfer portal players coming to Birmingham, you probably should call Gusty Goulis and the Gusty Goulis Group. 205-542-1996. Served more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. Just Google Gusty Goulis Group. You're going to see over 850 five-star Google reviews. Yes, it's a lot. It's a lot of them. Gusty Goulis invests thousands of dollars in the latest tools like social media, marketing, photography to get your house ready or to understand what's coming available. Because he has that buyer network, he knows what's going to be listed soon and can get top dollar for your home. Why? Brokered by eXp Realty. Since 2012, Gusty Goulis Group recognized both nationally and locally as Greater Birmingham, Alabama's #1 team in homes. Group.com today and start packing. When we come back, expansion in the college football playoff. How soon? How many? It's becoming more and more real. Next, right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, tuning in. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. 800-230m.com. App is in the App Store, iPhone, Android. You can download that. Always listen on the go. Watch us live on YouTube. each and every morning. Search Jocks 945. Greg, the conversation around the college football playoff expanding seems to be sort of heating up. We mentioned with Andy Staples coming off that coaches convention that it was a bit of a part of the conversation there. We actually didn't go further, though, with this new redshirt rule that has been agreed upon. I'd love to see if you can make some sense into it. It was 4 games. All coaches, I don't know if you heard the same things. I'm assuming that you did, complaining that after 4 games, 5 games, when kids have appeared in 4, they don't want to play football anymore. They want to practice because they want to conserve the red shirt. Then they're going to transfer somewhere else before they get out. Now we're going to go to 9. Mm-hmm. And so you're making these decisions in early November, essentially, is what you're saying.
Not necessarily. How many conference games are being played across the board now?
10.
Not necessarily.
9.
10 big games, sure. But for the most part, you have 9 to 10 big games a year. I think you'll see a lot less guys that have played in the past, guys that might be a, quote, threat to redshirt. Maybe won't see them in some of those games against non-conference foes in which they're unnecessary, a la the Deuce Knight performance, I guess you'd say, against Mercer last year. Not necessary to play your starting quarterback. So in many ways, what we've already known and what we're probably ultimately going to get to, you put this in place, the regular season could shrink at some point in the future. I'm not saying it will. I think it's possible. Go to, say, 11 games in the regular season, 10 games in the regular season, perhaps. Probably not likely anytime soon, but possible, especially in an expanded field in the playoffs where you're playing more games, more rounds. So that's something that could happen at some point in the future. So you adjust this to 9, you shrink the regular season by a game, maybe, and then you're all good. But I think a lot of this is going to turn the non-conference into a preseason. That's where we're going.
You're holding guys out, or?
Yeah, I think what's the point in playing Brett Favre in the preseason in the 13th season of his career? Nothing. I don't know why Brett Favre came to mind. I don't know. I just feel like every year in the preseason, retiring or is he playing? Like what's the deal with Favre? Now, granted, that was 15 years ago, but that's where I think it's going. I just do not see. I'm just seeing more and more of a trend in the direction of those non-conference games being treated as preseason matchups where you might not play your starters if it's not necessary.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well,
could you buy that?
But I could from an extent, but also you're spending a lot of money on these guys to play in your regular season games.
Not the ones that don't matter, that people don't care about.
No, that's fair. But do you have the numbers to just play all these other guys and not play the guys that you're giving your NIL money to or your rev share money to?
Maybe. But why 9?
That I can't help you with that. I don't know.
Exactly. Like, it's not even a round number. Like, I could see them saying, all right, we'll take it from 4 to 8.
There has to be a reason out there somewhere.
I think it's because there's going to be 9 games that matter a year. And we need them for those 9.
We'll see. I can't make sense of it. I can't. I don't know how, but maybe one of the coaches we have on in the offseason can give us an idea of why they're going there and what it's going to look like. Heather Dinich is reporting that college football playoff expansion is on the table and being discussed. You and I have said for years, year after next, I think, is where we agree, probably 16 at the least, no matter what. But
I think it's going to be 16 next year.
You think next year we're going to get it? That's what I was going to ask. Is this thing on fast forward to the point where we're going to get it next year?
Well, right now, you cannot tell me with certainty that there is an advantage towards the top 4 teams that are currently earning buys. There's not one right now. Frankly, the team that's in the 5th seed is in a better spot than the team that's in the 1st seed. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you can't reward the 5th seed. Oh, great. You finished 3rd in the Big Ten. Here's your reward. Go play James Madison in a glorified scrimmage. That doesn't make sense. The team that finishes first should get the advantage. And guess what? The team that finishes first probably won their conference. So now the conference championship games now have an increased weight because the first round matchup will be against the G5 team. So you actually care now It's not like, oh, well, we win the SEC. Great. What do we get? Nothing. A trip to the Sugar Bowl. Oh, well, you win the Big Ten. You win the Big Ten this year. Guess what? What do we get? Well, now you get to play James Madison, whereas the other team has to play against BYU, whoever it is. So I think there's an advantage there. And I think more home games are better. I don't think you're watering down the regular season that much more by adding 4 more teams. It's not the end of the world. Not great, but not the end of the world. But the Big Ten is adamant about going beyond that and has been for a while. It's been documented, and Heather Dinich has already talked about it, but we've known this for 6 months now, that Tony Petitti wants 24 teams, which to me feels way too aggressive.
How do you even operate that as far as duration and on top of regular season? I just don't even see how it's feasible.
16 is the absolute most I can justify.
Is there any way they can go past
that.
16 and not subtract from the regular season?
No. I think you've already subtracted from the regular season.
Well, I mean, like literally take games away.
Yeah, I mean, you can. These guys are getting paid now, so.
But you're going to go with a 12-game regular season, possible conference championship game, 2014 playoff?
That's what it sounds like.
With the national championship game on February 17th.
That's what it sounds like. Also, at what point do we start to evaluate the importance of conference championship games?
Well, that's already being evaluated.
Yeah, that's probably, it's time to start looking at that.
It's on the brink of extinction now.
Correct.
I think that is maybe closer to being done than playoff expansion, because I think with playoff expansion, that will most likely come with it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I just don't know how you keep them if you go to that. I really don't.
You don't.
You keep them, but maybe, as we've discussed, something different, a play-in game.
Yeah.
You take your first 2 teams that are ranked outside of the top 12 of the playoff rankings, and you say, we're going to let you try to play your way in.
Yeah.
And you have an extra game or a play-in game, which maybe it wouldn't even be definitive that you got in if everybody else won, but you try to make it work that way.
Or the last team in against the first team out.
There you go.
From that league.
Ooh, last team in, not going to like that.
Tough. Be higher. I'm sorry. Like,
rank yourself more.
Here's how we fix that. Let's win all our games.
Wild to think about.
It's crazy that you have to actually win games to make the playoff now. It's insane. I can't believe we're asking this much of these teams to go 9-3 or better. Amazing. But I also look at it. I understand. I get it. All these things are amazing. All these things are awesome. There are some details and there's some devil in there. I don't know what it is yet. We'll see. I think you are further weakening what is already a pathetically bad bowl schedule across the board. I know people watch them. I watch them. I love them, but I could care less about the outcome of any of them. I watch them. I enjoy them. I watch all the bowl games. If there's a bowl game on, I'm watching it. But it's already been so watered down that you're only making it weaker by continuing to expand the playoffs. And I don't love it. I understand it's a necessary evil. But that, I think, is something that could become even more problematic beyond this. I also think that you run the risk of watering down the regular season a little bit more. But I've noticed this, like, we're tribal when it comes to college football. People are still going to be jumping off cliffs when their team loses. Like, no matter what.
Sure.
I mean, it's still such a gut punch when your team loses. Even if it doesn't affect your playoff standing, people are still beside themselves. So, I don't know, man. I don't love the 16-team field, but then again, I didn't love the 12 either.
Nor did I.
I think going to 8 would have been just fine. And keeping it at 4 would have been just fine. And then reimagining go to 8 and reimagine the conference championship games. That would have been great. And then you get an expanded playoff without really expanding the playoff. But I don't know. I think there's things we can change about our format in the regular season that would allow us to have a more compelling playoff field than just continuing to expand to the point in which we're just watering down the.
Your thoughts on maybe what could be different about the regular season that could make the postseason more intriguing? Flu season, by the way, is here. Make your home healthier with Trane's Clean Effects. Only 9% of airborne particles, including those that cause virus. 100 times more effective than standard air filters. 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. Find a dealer near you at Trane.com. It's hard. The regular season, how could it improve to benefit everything? Next on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Talking college football playoff and regular season, how it could be better to maybe 800-239-9569. You can tweet in at Mac and Cube. What would you do to college football's more intriguing without just saying, hey, here's more playoff games? Because part of you, yeah, it's great. More games that mean more games, more teams that are in the postseason. Part of that could be cool, but don't know if it's just that easy of a solution. Before you tell us about that, the thing that people are chasing in the postseason, the ring, a great place to get a few more of those, GMAC, will be at Bromberg's.
And especially now, if you received a ring in the last couple weeks, congratulations on getting engaged. That's amazing. But now is the time when wedding planning begins, and it can begin at Bromberg's as it relates to your registry. Bromberg's has been serving this community for 190 years. And you can register online if you'd like, but working one-on-one with a Bromberg's experienced bridal consultant will help you a lot. They'll help you with everything you need, from china to crystal to silverware and casual pieces too. Plus, you can enjoy 20% off wedding bands and special pricing on wedding party gifts. So register online at brombergsbride.com or visit Bromberg's in Mountain Brook or at the Summit.
Okay, so your thoughts, Greg, on the regular season, where it would need to go to benefit our postseason? What alterations, changes would you make to the regular season to help this happen?
Well, I would get rid of the G5 games. I don't care about them. I'd get rid of the FCS games. They don't matter. They don't rate. They're not good for anybody. That to me, it feels like fluff. And it feels at this point a little unnecessary. I would make it Power 4 against Power 4. I would make it NFL-style scheduling model. Those would be the first tweaks I would make. Just think it makes more sense. I don't need to see my team go out there and just drum a team 49-0. It doesn't matter. Doesn't do anything for me. I would consider shrinking the regular season and adding a second bye. For example, this year, there's just one bye in a 13-week season. That's going to be a little hard on some of these teams. You're going to have some fatigue that plays a role. I personally don't love 2 byes because I think it weakens the schedule and it weakens the inventory. But from a player's standpoint, I think it's helpful and just kind of have that week to reset twice throughout the regular season. But they're going to get a real taste of the NFL this year. All those players will get a real taste of the NFL, and it can be exhausting depending on when that bye week falls. I would also look at ways to be creative when it came to play-in games, like we talked about already. First team in, last team in, first team out, play. That to me makes sense. As opposed to taking 1 versus 2, whose playoff destiny is already secured, take 4 versus 5, or 5 versus 6, or 2 versus 3. That would make sense to me. That would make a lot of sense to me. If you have only one team in the field, then guess what? 1 versus 2. Winners in, losers out. I would reimagine how these conference championship games are formatted. For example, this year, Duke, Virginia in the ACC title game. I would have made it Duke, Miami. They've already made that adjustment, so it's fixed. Take the 2 best teams in the league, not the 2 teams that win by way of 17,000 different tiebreakers. So those are just a few tweaks right here in the near term that I would have adjusted, and I think those would immediately solve some of the problems.
Yeah. John, do you have anything in the regular season you would sort of immediately change that you think could help the postseason?
It doesn't feel like a major one, but I guess it's more so off the field because I would, and I don't know how Greg may feel about this, but in terms of like the ranking show, I would spread it out a little bit more. I don't know if I feel like we need to have it like the 6 weeks leading up. I would still have it the 6 times, but maybe have one maybe have like 2 a month. So that way, okay, we know where we are kind of now, but we don't need it every single week. I almost kind of feel the same way about like the polls too. Like we can have a preseason poll and then like 2-3 weeks in, especially since we're playing stiff competition, all right, we can reassess them because we become so prisoner of the moment and, how can so-and-so not be ranked? All right, well, they hadn't played anybody. We don't know. But now that we've got a sample size, okay, we can change our opinion, change our mind, change our thoughts, and actually this is how we think they are right now.
Okay.
A lot of people have said that to get rid of the weekly ranking show. I think that's been reiterated by many. I don't think you're the first, and I don't think you'll be the last. My only thing about that is, what would be people's reaction at the end of the season when Alabama's in the college football playoff after looking the way they did at the end? Like, there would be strong reaction. Very, very strong reaction. So, well, yes, you can remove some of the challenges, if you will, with doing a weekly ranking show, but I think you at least warm up the college football public with the ranking shows leading up to the final whistle. And while they might be frustrated with the final result, at least they're a little bit more prepared for it, as opposed to just dropping it in their lap and having people lose their minds. Because frankly, while people were disappointed with Notre Dame being left out, naturally, I understand that, they weren't shocked. Like, it was not some, oh my gosh. While people were probably a little mad about Alabama being in, they weren't shocked. Like, they didn't cry conspiracy, because it was pretty easy to digest where Alabama was and why they were where they were because of what transpired in the weeks leading up. So I think while people only point out the negatives of the weekly rankings, they seldom look for the positives, because we never, ever, ever want to acknowledge the positives of anything. But it does prepare people for the eventual outcome. And that, I think, is helpful for college football fans dealing with the disappointment and or the happiness of what transpires on Selection Day.
And I don't disagree. And that's why I was thinking maybe if you spread it out some going into it, like have one in September, have 2 in October, and then still have your final 2-3 kind of then, you as opposed to needing it about partway through or not having that whole season, having it throughout half the season, and then all of a sudden going at it back to back to back like that. I thought spreading it out might make things a little bit more palatable.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, I can see all sides of it as to how it could help some. Some may say it could take away. There's no true right or wrong answer because there's so many different variables as to how it could go, what it could be. If you expanded playoff, if you took away from the regular season, it could benefit what teams look like at the end of the season entering the playoff from a health perspective. But are ADs and presidents going to allow that revenue stream to go away? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. Before we get to a break, though, tell our listeners about Canty.
Well, Canty can fix it. That's one thing you know for sure. And they've been helping our community for a while now. They're the local experts in foundation repair, crawl space, basement, and concrete solutions. Here in Alabama, there's a million different factors that can lead to foundation problems in your home. The soil, shifting, uneven ground, moisture, weather, lots, including just the age of your home. So if you're noticing cracks in the walls and the floors around doors and windows, if you're noticing that those doors and windows aren't sticking or closing properly, perhaps you've noticed chimneys or porches pulling away from the home, then that might be an indication that you need someone to look at your foundation. Canty Foundationalists, they offer free inspections and estimates so homeowners know exactly what's going on under their house, and their work is backed by lifetime transferable warranties. So 09-3991, or you can go online at Canty, C-A-N-T-E-Y, Can Fix It. That's Canty, canfixit.com.
All right, when we come back, bad box score of the day, and we'll continue talking college football playoffs. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're lacking energy, we can help you out. Game Day Men's Health. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. Sign up for the free consultation. Get the free PSA test. They're going to be able to get you lighter with weight loss programs, feeling better with peptide programs. Your body discontinues making those over time. And obviously, testosterone replacement, a lot of different ways for them to get you back to feeling like yourself. Locker room environment, great people. Holistic approach to health and wellness. Here's the best part. Save 10% on any service they offer by mentioning Mac and Cube, and minimal upfront cost in the programs they offer. Book your free consultation today at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. If I allowed you to make one change right now, just one, to the regular season in college football, Greg, what would that one change be today?
Well, if it's the regular season, I also would include conference championships in the regular season. Number one change I'd make is to reimagine those conference championship games, and maybe that will be better served here in the years to come, because we've already adjusted our tiebreaker scenarios. So maybe we are already there, but I don't know that just yet. Like, I think that with a 12-team field, and I don't think we're going to stay there. I think we'll be at 16. I don't think playing 1 versus 2 in the league matters as much as it once did. Like, all that is, you're jockeying for position. You want a better spot when you're in the race. Like, starting in the first position on the rail in the Kentucky Derby is not ideal. Starting in the 20th position outside, not ideal. You want to be around like 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you're 1 versus 2, like, great. Being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the overall seeding is great. So you're benefited already by having a great regular season. But right now it lacks pop. It lacks buzz, and frankly, it creates confusion for people.
You realize some people are going to tell you, and they're going to say, you're subtracting the worth of your conference. Right? You're telling me your conference doesn't mean enough to actually play to announce a true champion?
Yeah, well, the regular season champion's the champion.
Makes your regular season a little bit more important.
Look, nothing was more important in my career than winning the SEC championship game for my personal career, but it was a different era. The SEC championship game back then was essentially the college football playoff semifinal. Winner advanced to the national championship. Loser was out. That was all it was. So it was a different era. It mattered more. Now it doesn't matter as much. And while I love the money that it brings in, I love the viewership that it brings in, the realities are right now there's not a whole lot on the line.
Fair.
Which is unfortunate. And frankly, for Alabama, who looked awful in the conference championship game, they weren't penalized whatsoever, and people have a hard time wrapping their head around that. You and I understood it. We said exactly what was going to happen. It was not surprising to us that it went the way it went, because who makes up the college football playoff? 10 commissioners. What do the commissioners really, really not want? To de-incentivize participation in conference championship games. So those that are controlling the college football playoff don't want there to be massive penalties for participating in a conference championship game. Imagine that. Of course they don't. Why would they? Because what's to stop Alabama from saying, I'm not playing?
Yeah.
Nothing. So they need to reimagine this.
Totally fair.
So you take either the first 2 teams out or the last team in, first team out, and you play those games. Now there's something on the line. Winner's probably in, loser's probably out. That's massive. Or the first 2 teams out, hey, winner might enhance their resume just enough to get in the field. Maybe it's not. Now selection day becomes even more compelling because you have teams that have strengthened their resume on conference championship weekend.
All right, going to get to a bad box score here in just a moment. You're going to have to wait for that. But, Greg, one thing you never have to wait for is your dental care.
That's because Family Care Dental has you taken care of in several locations to make it easy on you. Hoover, Foldendale, Homewood, Alabaster, and Trustful. They can get you in and get you taken care of. Those routine cleaning appointments now come with free teeth whitening as well. They can see you on Fridays and Saturdays, and they get you in today on the exact same day if you have an emergency. So give them a call today at Family Care Dental, 874-9605. That's Family Care Dental, 874-9605.
All right, JUCO basketball over the weekend, technically NAIA basketball over the weekend. We'll go to the women's side of it. The Mobile College
Marauders.
Are they Saints?
They're not.
The Baymen.
Rams.
Rams.
They just went down to the William Carey College in Mississippi.
The Worcesters.
The Bulldogs.
No, they're the Tigers.
They're the Knights.
Knights
get to 14-0. Rams 4-14 on the season. They go down 100-48 last night.
Okay.
Not
That's
the
a
best.
double up.
Not great.
Mobile shot 20 of 56 from the floor. It's 35%. They did shoot 13 threes.
How many did they make?
Just only 3.
How many?
3 of 13.
That's not terrible.
Now, they got to the free throw line 10 times.
Okay.
Aight.
They made 5.
Ah.
They did turn it over 21 times.
We've seen worse.
Out rebounded 48 to 28.
Okay, they didn't want to be there.
William Carey shot 32 of 61, 7 of 16 from 3.
They were hot.
A little bit.
They were hot.
A little bit. Yeah,
Hot.
4 or 5 starters in
Hot.
double figures for William Carey, the Knights, last night. That may
Knights
not
last
have
night.
been the worst bad box score of the day in NAIA women's basketball. The new College of Florida.
New monies.
No, they're the Seahawks.
What would the new College of Florida new money's mascot be?
Just a dollar sign.
Trevor Lawrence.
Just a picture of a bread loaf. Bread.
That's actually not bad. They are the Mighty Banyans.
The what?
It's actually a pretty sweet mascot.
The 90s
Bunions?
band?
Banyans.
the impression that I get?
Banyans.
Heck yeah. Is that like a?
This is the mascot right here.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
tree.
that's
It's a tree.
different.
It's a banyan
It's
tree.
original.
Love it.
Hold on. You didn't know what the word was, but now you know it's a banyan tree?
Well, I know it's a tree. Yeah, I mean, I'm not thinking tree. Sorry, I'm just not thinking trees when I'm thinking mascots.
Stanford's still out there.
Who?
They took on Southeastern
Fire.
Florida. Flame. You saw the mascot and
No, we
Head-to-head when I
played
showed
them
it there?
back in the day.
yeah. Are they the
Mm.
fire? I
Yeah.
thought they were flame. The fire.
Were they?
Yeah.
No. In this bad box score, were they fire?
Yeah, they burned down the trees 86 to 28.
Whew.
Oh boy.
Not
29 to 12 in the first quarter. Then really caught fire in the second, outscoring 25 to 6.
Okay.
Your score by quarter in the 6. New College of Florida up to their old ways at 7-7, 0-5 in conference. Shot the ball 45 times in the game.
They
Respectable.
made
9.
That's
Great. How many?
just dis-
9
For
of
the whole game?
45. 9 of 45 for the game. Yeah, it's 20%,
Not
20% from the
exactly.
floor.
Not great.
Well, at
No.
least 3 of their 9 shots were from 3
just 3.
out of 17 attempts.
Don't they know what basketball is supposed to be like nowadays? You gotta just shoot threes.
They were out rebounded 52 to 33, and
Okay.
they turned it over 31 times.
Well, that's what got them.
Every player in the starting 5 had at least 3 turnovers.
It's bad coach.
They're spreading it around.
So the team's cohesive. Just
Actually, both
bad.
teams are bad coaches because Southeastern scored less in the second half.
Yeah,
So per
correct.
Alabama media, you can't be a good coach unless you score more in the second half.
Exactly.
It's the only way. Southeastern perfect from the free throw line, 7 of 7, 15 of 34 from 3.
Yep. It figures.